So, not too long ago, I made a video discussing some discontinued chips, and from that video, I clipped a short talking about Doritos Jacked, and it really seems like you guys miss those chips. So, in honor of your beautiful, kind-hearted souls, today, please sit back as we look back at one of the most iconic chips to ever hit the market, Doritos Jacked. Well, to start this story, we need to head all the way back to 2012, the year of Ebola and the world ending, and that year's South by Southwest Music Festival, which was responsible for the unveiling of these new Doritos, where Doritos actually sponsored an entire stage, which they dubbed the Jack Stage, where big acts like Lady Gaga were performing. It was designed to look like a vending machine that would actually drop bags of chips on fans as people were performing. The thing was absolutely massive, spanning just about 56 feet tall, which is about the size of a 4-story building. Yeah, crazy. But it was a really cool way to market the introduction of their new product and garner some buzz. The product in question, of course, being their new line of chips, the Doritos Jacked. A chip that was meant to be 40% larger than the original Dorito in both size and crunch. And on top of that, the flavors would be jacked up as well, with these being double dusted in coating. And shortly after the festival, they would be launched in stores nationwide. Doritos Jacked would initially launch in 2 flavors, Enchilada Supreme and Smoky Chipotle Barbecue. The Smoky Chipotle Barbecue flavor was described as having a decent amount of heat for a chip, but not being overwhelmingly hot with a slight smokiness. And the Enchilada Supreme just being described as tasting kind of like white people tacos. But regardless of the flavors, fans were absolutely in love with the size of the chip, and even more in love with the crunch. No matter which flavor you look up, where the review is from, what time period it's from, everyone who had these will always tell you that that crunch was just unmatched compared to any other chip ever. And Doritos definitely noticed the insane spike of sales from them, and within just a year, in 2013, they would release one of the most popular discontinued chips ever. And not even just for Doritos or this line. And that would be the Doritos Jacked Ranch Dipped Hot Wings. Oh man, dude, these chips were the bomb.com. This is actually the only flavor of these I can actively remember having. And, well yeah, I'm aware that seems biased. Don't take it just from me. I mean, literally just look up Doritos Jacked Ranch Dipped Hot Wings on Google and see how many posts come up about people's love for them. I mean, it's insane. They're truly iconic. The bright blue bag contrasted by the insanely red chips. I mean, what's not to love? And on top of all that, the flavor was incredible. Most people refer to the Blazing Buffalo Ranch Doritos that are out now as a lighter version of this classic chip. And that's kind of true, because while the Buffalo Ranch flavor is there, the Jacked Doritos claim to be ranch dipped hot wings. And yeah, they actually had some heat to them. I'm a spice boy myself. I go for the spiciest thing anywhere all the time, and even I remember these things packing a decent kick to them. But the fun didn't stop there, because in 2014, Doritos would take the Jacked line and do a fun little experiment with them, in which they would release 3 limited edition test flavors that fans could then vote on, with the winner ultimately becoming a permanent flavor. Very similar to Mountain Dew's Democracy campaign, which we've covered before in this video here. Flavors, however, weren't initially given to consumers. Instead, the bags were just called Tests 404, 855, and 2653 respectively, with the winner ultimately being Test 404, which was unveiled to be Spicy Street Taco, which was seen as a spicier version of the Enchilada Supreme, but without that sour cream flavor. The other 2 flavors would also be released to the public, with Test 855 being a Caribbean citrus jerk, which was compared to the hint of lime Tostitos but spicier, and lastly, Test 2653, which was a chocolate chipotle bacon flavored chip. Most people just said it tasted like a basic chicken mole sauce, and honestly, Doritos probably knew this one wasn't gonna win, and they were just cashing in on the then bacon and chocolate craze of the early 2010s. But after this whole ordeal, 2015 would come knocking, and Doritos wanted to totally switch up the Jacked line by mixing it with another fan favorite line, Doritos 3D. They released 2 flavors of these merged snacks, those being Jalapeno Pepper Jack and Bacon Cheddar Ranch. The Jalapeno Pepper Jack flavor has also built quite a cult following around it, not as big as the ranch dipped hot wings, but still pretty noticeable. They were described as kind of tasting like a spicy cheesy corn nut. Bacon Cheddar Ranch was actually the first flavor to be released through mobile only, with you having to have the Fritos app at the time to get them. But maybe they did that intentionally, because people were not big on that flavor. They were just said to taste super bland and mostly like cheddar, but without any bacon or like smokiness to them. And that would be it for 2015. And at this point, you're probably expecting me to say something even more crazy for 2016. But that wouldn't be the case. In 2016, Doritos didn't do anything new with the Jacked line. Instead, they just re-released the spicy street taco flavor, and that was it. I mean, the three main flavors were still around, but even by 2016, people were already noticing the Jacked 3D variety was pretty much sold out everywhere. Starting to put the question in their heads, are they discontinuing my favorite snack? And their worst fears would sadly become a reality. Because throughout 2017 and 2018, Frito-Lays would slowly start phasing these out of stores in favor of other new products from the brand, and by 2019, Doritos Jacked would be permanently discontinued. Of course, the reasoning was the standard big company, well, we're moving on with consumer needs and the market shifts and blah blah blah, you know, the usual. But something I mentioned in that original video I brought up at the start was that as someone who's worked in a factory before, something most people don't take into account necessarily is how these things are actually produced. I mean, you gotta think about it. With a company this large, they're obviously being made on a factory line with machines designed specifically for a Dorito. And this is no different. They probably had to adapt one of their current machines or make a totally new one just to make these chips. And on top of that, most of that stuff is gatekept by those companies, so anytime something goes wrong, they have to call them for maintenance. And if sales truly were declining, maybe they decided to halt the production of Doritos Jacked entirely and instead use that equipment for something that would actually give them a return on their profit. But that's just my theory. And I want to hear yours in the comments below. Did you remember eating these back in the day? What was your favorite flavor? Do you want them back? Make sure to let me know, and don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button on your way down there because it's always appreciated. And I'll see you guys in another video. Peace.